In a way, actually, I had the support from my cousin who studies psychology. She's 10 years older than me, so she always provides the space. But of course, it also is limited by my mental capacity, right?
Yes.
My readiness,
Your also
my
your
maturity.
awareness.
Yes. So I can, even for me to get to the point where I'm able to say I need help and go to counseling, not many people can do that. Not many people can say that.
Yeah.
That's because of the help of my cousin who are always there to help me learn about mental health, about my emotions. So that's one point. And then I went to the meditation camp. So we're not allowed to talk, to write, or to read anything. Even we need to put our phone with the instructors. So it was just literally, we call it the noble silence. It's to allow you to be able to go deeper into yourself when you don't have all of this distraction. So you have no input or output lah. It's just you focusing on yourself. It started on a Sunday afternoon, so Monday was the first full day. On the Monday morning, I already started to cry. I burst out crying. And it's not just like a small cry like I've been doing here. It was literally like a child throwing a tantrum. I couldn't stop crying. So it's just like at certain sessions, I would just run back to my room because I just couldn't stop crying. All over my body aches. I felt very uncomfortable, and I asked the instructor of like, what is wrong with me? What is going on with me? Why I couldn't stop crying? Because when we shine a light on ourselves, we go deeper within ourselves, and then we have issues, health issues, trauma, mental issues, and whatever. We were able to go into our subconscious mind, our memory, and certain memories can pop up.
Yeah.
The bad ones usually. So he asked me, was there any certain memories that pop up during your meditation? I was like, no, there's no memory. I was just busy crying. I didn't even know why I cry. I just need, like, my body just involuntarily cry. But after a while, I realized that every time I nap, because after you cry, you're tired, or in between breaks, we have nothing to do, so we just rest. I always have dreams, and these dreams are just bits and pieces of my past. Oh, this is the wall of my primary school. Or this was my childhood desk, that kind of thing. So it's not something clear, a certain point in time or certain memory. It's just everything mushed together. And then it just hit me that all of these emotions, with the help of the instructor also, that this was all the pent up emotions that I had since I was a kid for being sick. So all of the sadness, all of the anger, all of the disappointment towards myself every time I flare up. Because I would be like, see, this is because I didn't put lotion yesterday. I was too lazy to reapply my ointment yesterday. I've been getting better a little bit. I forget about myself. I just enjoy life as a kid, which is not wrong.
Yeah.
But I have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as a kid, as you mentioned, I didn't know how to process all of this. So there was just usually a moment in time where it just got too much and I would just cry myself to sleep. And the words that only come to my mind were just, I'm tired.
Yeah.
But that's it. The next day, I would just suppress everything back in and continue with school. Because I felt like that was my responsibility. Not going to school was not a choice. So during that meditation camp, all of that came out. And I learned to process it. I learned to let it go. Towards the end of the meditation, we close it up with a loving kindness meditation. So he told me that it's basically that I need to learn to be kinder to myself. I need to be able to forgive myself. I need to be able to have self-compassion towards myself. So the instructor asked me to focus on loving kindness meditation. Being able to let go all of those, and one of the important lessons there also about it, they really emphasize is about anicca. Anicca means the only constant is change. In life, everything changes.
Yeah.
Not just, let's say, the big things like your career, your school, your friends, your family. Even your breath changes. The way you breathe one moment to the next. The way you blink from one moment to the next. Nothing lasts forever. So is happiness, and so is pain.
Yes.
So we train there to focus on ourselves, to notice all of these changes and accept those changes and be okay with those changes. So I let all of the baggage go, and I internalizes that everything changes, and that's okay. So at the end of the meditation camp, that was the first time in my life I felt so light. It's a health meditation. I could have just gone there for my psoriasis. A lot of people go there for their sickness.
Yeah.
But I just went there because I needed that peace.
Yes.
And I came home getting that peace. For the first time in my life, I had peace.
Yeah.
I felt so light. For the first time in my life, I was in a room full of strangers. I have no worry at all. Yeah, I was just there, being present. It's just be present
Yes.
without baggage, without worry at all. Because I learned to let all of that go,
Yeah.
I can finally see past through my pain. I can finally have mental capacity to think about other things outside of my pain, outside of my illness. And that's when, afterwards, I was able to start my career. I was able to start building Psoriasis Indonesia or Psoriasis ID. And that 7 days of meditation also allows me to have the habit of having self-awareness.
Yeah.
And that begins my journey to be able to process and go deeper into myself, see process all of my trauma. How do I overcome this one by one? I was able to also see my logical fallacies afterwards, with the help of going routinely to counseling sessions. Like a lot of journaling, a lot of crying, a lot of inner work, a lot of going inward within myself, just to be able to create more and more capacity in my life. So I can just use my life for something else rather than just from someone who live in a victim mindset to someone who can finally choose what she wants in her life and create space for it. So it was a very life-changing moment, but I have to say it was also very traumatizing. Having 4 days just like couldn't stop crying, your body feel aching all over. I actually asked to go back home. But I'm like, I can't do this anymore. This is too much. They didn't let me back home. I also think, okay, fine. I came here to find peace. If this is what I had to go through to get that peace, then so be it. But it was life-changing, but it was traumatizing. So I didn't go back for a while.
Thank you for sharing, Chiara.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people are very curious about how does healing look like, or how does holistic healing look like. Holistic healing is all about looking beyond just your physical. It's also looking at your emotional and mental health, actually. And there are a lot of people, it's also time for us to normalize this conversation as well.
Yes.
When you have a chronic illness, it's very normal to feel angry, to feel a lot of fear, to feel a lot of grief. And these are all big emotions.
Yes.
And not a lot of people are actually aware enough to actually put a vocabulary to what they're
Yeah.
feeling.
Yes.
So even if we are able to put a vocabulary into what we are feeling, we don't necessarily have the tool or the support
Process.
to actually process
Yes.
all these emotions to begin our healing journey.
Yes.
So in Chiara, we can clearly see that if we do not process all these suppressed emotions, these feelings, and this grief and pain,
Yeah.
all these emotions that kept hidden for so many years, accumulated over the years, we have no capacity for other things, right? When we make space, when we process, when we make space for other things to come into our lives. So, for example, we make space for love, we make space for joy, we make space for what's beyond our condition. And that's how we're able to actually look beyond our condition and actually really start to live our lives the way that we want to. And that is also how Chiara started her journey with advocacy and so much more, chasing her dreams, living her dream right now. It is such a beautiful thing to witness. So, Chiara, it was very hard for you, right? 7 days. And you're just constantly crying.
Yeah.
But then you went back.
Yeah.
You went back just last week,
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago in
Yes.
Bali.
Yes.
How was it for you?
So I decided to go back after 5 years was because after TM happened, I was relatively still okay and everything. But last October in Estonia, I suddenly had that back pain again on my spinal cord. At first, I thought it was just muscle strain, but it didn't get any better. After a few days, I ate muscle relaxants. I put on Salonpas and all those kind of things. At one point, I was working, and it hit me. It's been a few days. Nothing helps for the muscles. Then it's not the muscles.
Yeah.
It's my nerves. So I freaked out.
Of course.
What if I get paralyzed again? What does this mean? Right? I don't think I can get through a third time when I'm not even 100% recovered right now. I went to the hospital early in the morning at dawn because I just couldn't sleep at all again because it was just too painful. I got admitted, I got a strong painkiller and everything. We redo all the MRIs. But it was just pain. There was no digression in my nerves whatsoever. And it was concluded from the first MRI, the initial conclusion was spinal compression. Means it's something else.
Okay.
It's not TM.
Something else.
In my spine too.
Oh dear.
And I was there alone, in a foreign country, in a language that I don't speak. There's language barrier. Also, during the weekend, there's no specialists. So it's just the nerves throwing out big words at me. A spinal compression. We don't know if it's tumor, if it's hematoma. Subdural hematoma is like it's literally like bleeding. It's like, oh, they'll be discussing with a neurosurgeon. It's like, why suddenly are we talking about neurosurgeon? Why is like tumor or whatsoever, right? It was just like the big words that I unfortunately understand because I've been sick for a long time. So I read all of this stuff, medical stuff. So it just threw me really off the loop.
Yeah.
Of facing this really big uncertainty.
Yeah.
Because last time I straight hit rock bottom and the only way to go is up.
Yeah.
This time I was just in the middle. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I will fall again. I don't know if I'm going up or I'm going down. When will I go up? How severe it is, how serious the condition was. I was just being told those big words, and then they want to start off steroid again. high dose steroids. I went through that for TM. I had to go through that for TM. It was very heavy impact towards me. From once we let go of the steroid, I flare up really badly from psoriasis. Will's recovering, Will's not being able to move on your own. I had really bad acne, hair fall, and then really moon face, bloated and everything, and had night sweats every night. So I couldn't even sleep. So I was just really sweating my ass off. Even though I have fans all over me, I was just sweating. It was just, I would only be able to sleep at 4 a.m. onwards. So dealing with all of that and couldn't sleep makes everything worse. And I could only get rid of all of the symptoms after like 1.5 years. That took me so long. I don't want to go through that again. I don't want to go through any of that again. So it's just like really like put me in a dark space lah. At that point, I was just like, I don't know how much fun I have left in me. I was just like, I don't know how to get past through this because this was another game. Especially I was just alone on my own. I have friends there that come every day, bring me food to cheer me up and what. But it's different, right? The level of involvement in what I need to deal with, like the mentally and emotional burden that I have to deal with of being sick and facing all these uncertainties on my own. So we did another MRI in a few days afterwards. Apparently, the spinal compression is gone on its own, which is weird because it usually don't happen this way. My pain was still there on and off. Thankfully, I didn't regress my nerve function, but they suspected that there was a slight different position from my first MRI to the second MRI. So, but since I was quote unquote stable at the time, my pain was manageable. They sent me home with a lot of strong painkillers. I stayed home for like 1.5 weeks, relying heavily on the painkillers while waiting for my next appointment for MRI. So what they're going to do is positional MRI. So they will have me like look down, look up to check if their hypothesis is true, that the spinal compression only exists depending on my position. Which turns out to be true. That's even weirder. Because that's such a rare thing to happen. There is a disease which doesn't even have a statistic, it's just case study. That's how rare it is. It's called Hirayama disease. But that happened, all the cases happen on the neck. But mine is on my upper back. So they call it Hirayama-like disease.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But even in the beginning when they told me this, they were just calling me, oh, you have like we're hepatitis Hirayama, blah blah blah. They're just like, okay, because naturally you're still in shock, or you're still trying to process things. You don't exactly come up with a lot of questions. So afterwards, I Google what Hirayama, I read about it. It's just like, but Hirayama is usually on the neck, and he asked me to wear like that neck brace thing to prevent me from moving too much. And because it's usually on the neck corresponds to our hand nerve function. My hands are okay. Am I supposed to expect my hands to be affected now or what? Because they didn't tell me that the spinal compression is my upper back. They just mentioned that the spinal compression is there and then it's gone.
Sounds like a lot of uncertainties.
Yes. So I was just living in all of this fear of like, what could happen? What am I supposed to do? What am I not supposed to do? What kind of precautions do I need to take? What kind of thing that I should expect? So I wasn't physically paralyzed, but I was mentally and emotionally paralyzed.
Because there was nothing else you could do.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on.
Yes, because the doctors don't even know what's going on.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. The doctors held a neurologist conference in Estonia just to talk about my case.
Wow.
I'm famous there now. And they still don't know what's going on. To this point, after 2 weeks, my pain just stopped on its own. But I also stopped living. I went back to my survival mode.
Because you were scared.
I was scared. I was scared of doing things and that it will trigger something else.
Okay.
If it only present on certain position, I've been going often to the gym. What if that cause, like, when you do certain exercises in that position, is that what causing it? Am I so even stopped exercising for my own recovery because I was so scared.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? I just felt very trapped.
Yeah.
I felt very unhappy. I just couldn't wait to even go back home. And especially, it was winter time, which is very depressing on its own already.
Yes.
The short daylights, the weather, and everything. So it's just everything combined all at once. That my fear, my trauma, in going through meditation camp in the first place, my need of getting help was bigger than that trauma. So I decided to go back to meditation. The night before I fly off to Bali to start meditation, my body just suddenly like migraine come out. Like just like at night, I was still okay throughout the day, like early in the evening. Then suddenly at night, it was just like closer when I would need to sleep, right? Really heavy migraine. I was really nauseous. Like I nauseous to the point I was like, oh, I needed to like puke it out. Whereas there's nothing to puke. And then I started crying. It was like my body response to the idea that I need to go tomorrow. It just come out on its own lah. But I know I would still go lah. I already pay what? Yeah. Pay for everything ma. Yeah. Just go lah. My parents would just sit there. They were just like, they were still like always worry when they see me cry. Yeah. I think but they're learning that it's just like it's okay for me to cry. Yes. I learned to communicate this to them. It's like I just need to cry. And that's okay. You don't need to worry or like need to stop me from crying. Yeah. They just sit there, accompany me, just like I really also appreciate that they don't tell me like, you don't want to go, then don't go lah. But they tell me like, just go. If you cannot stand it, then just go back home. It's like, yeah, I know, but I just need to go through and process this lah. So I was expecting the kind of dramatic experience that I had 5 years ago, right? Yeah. But I was actually I was okay. I was even bored. Wow. I was just like, nothing's going on. I had migraine lah, but also I was about to have my period, which is for me, I'm as a chronic migrainer also, it's normal. So just like, if is this migraine coming from a side effect from my meditation? Or just because I'm having period soon? But I was just like, I was okay. And that's when I realized that how powerful the first meditation impact was and all the self-healing journey that I went through. Little Chiara used to suppress and hide behind all trauma. But this Chiara didn't.
Tell us more.
When I went through TM, I was present with my pain. When I had all that burning sensation on my back, I was present with my pain. I didn't hide. I didn't find distractions. I just focused on breathing. Notice how it feels. Notice that it changes. Anicca. And knowing and believe that pain is temporary. This will pass. I was so calm when I got paralyzed, My parents were panicking. I was just like, okay, this happened. What's next? throughout that beginning period of transverse malatus, I was very calm. I was like, okay, what's next? What can we do? I was very logical. I was very present. In the hospital, after a few days, I started my steroid medication. We started having improvement on my left leg first. Started being able to move my toes and everything. And I think on the third night or the fourth night, I suddenly my chest burns at dawn. So usually it's just my back. Now it's my chest. We didn't know what was going on. Then maybe it's because of too high dose of steroid, and I couldn't take it. But it started flaring up towards the back. It was at dawn. There's no doctors. There's just on-call doctors. So we call all the nurse. The nurse would just all come to my room, like try to soothe me, try to like one is holding my hand, one is like rubbing me and all. But I was just like I was very present with my pain. I just sit there. I was just breathing, feel the pain, ask for help and whatever lah. But I was present with my pain. When I was present with my pain, I didn't suppress, I didn't accumulate trauma inside my body. I processed it and I let it go. I didn't hang on to it. I didn't keep it inside of me. And through all of that journey with transverse malatus, whenever I broke down, whenever I grieve, I allow myself to grieve. I allow myself to be sad. I allow myself to cry. I create space now for myself to feel what I feel. I'm okay with being sad.
Yes.
I'm okay with being angry. I'm okay with grief. So when people try to cheer me up or what, I don't need you to cheer me up. I don't need you to fix me. I just need to sit with this emotion. Because I need to go through it.
Yes.
That was like, I realized that what I've been doing, it allows me to not accumulate that trauma anymore. Like what little Chiara did. That's why when I went back to the meditation camp, I didn't have that big of a burden of load to unload anymore. Of course, I still do that. There's a lot of certain discomforties that comes along still. Like, for example, I go to dentist, I go facial. It reminded me of like, especially when during MRI, when I'm in a very uncomfortable positions, but I couldn't move at all. If I want to, I also couldn't move because I was paralyzed. But I was trapped in that position and being uncomfortable, right? My body still remembers. So during facial, during going to dentist, my body would start panicking like, okay, this is uncomfortable. This is reminding me of something. But I was aware of it. I was like, oh, okay, this is happening. And I can talk myself through it. That this is okay. I'm no longer in that situation. It's okay to feel this way. But this is a different situation. It's going to be over soon. Again, also being present and notice what I'm feeling.
I think this is the classic example of a person being able to observe their circumstances from a third person point of view.
Yeah.
So you are not your feelings, you're not
Yes.
your emotions,
Yes.
and yet you are the
Yes.
witness
Yes.
of your emotions.
Yes.
That's such powerful work.
Yes.
Such powerful work.
Yes.
Because especially people like us, I feel like I notice we carry a lot of baggages,
Yes.
including me. And sometimes when we carry a lot of baggages, we just feel a sense of heaviness in our chest or any parts of our body, but we don't know how to let it go.
Yeah.
And this is where the practice of letting go comes in.
Yes. Letting go, being
Yes.
mindful, being at the moment, accepting changes in your life.
Yep.
Because if you think about it, I got TM, I was paralyzed, I wasn't even recovered.
Yeah.
I never stopped working.
Yeah.
I only stopped working in the beginning for 2 months because things just happened. And then I went back part-time, half day, because I just couldn't sit at home and then swallowing my pain,
Yeah.
drowning my pain. So I asked to go back work half day. And then afterwards, it's just like I moved 2 jobs. But I never stopped working.
Sorry for my language, but bitch, you're crazy.
I know. And then furthermore, I went to a few trips, you know. I went to Bali with my sister. That was my first trip I went after transverse malatus. It was like my vacation. Like I was so happy that I could still travel. And then because I know that I was moving to Estonia soon, I needed to see my uni friends one last time.
Yeah.
I went here alone on my own. I was passed out lah in the airport. But I went on my own.
You're crazy.
And then I went to Italy. This is all knowing that even in Italy, I have like those baggage wheel
Yes.
that I can just sit down and
so
in the
cute.
airport,
It's
I
so
can just
cute.
ride it. So I don't need to walk and stand up for a long time.
Yeah.
It's like I have all these limitations and I still do it because I have the capacity to do it.
Yes.
And that comes from me being able to create space and process my pain.
Yes.
That's
You truly created this space for yourself.
Yeah.
So that you can actually coexist with your painful circumstances.
Yes.
And yet you also have so much capacity for joy.
Yes.
And that is so important for people with
That was-
chronic illnesses.
Yeah. It was crazy. Like I know a lot of people just like they would ask like, your parents let her go all the way to Estonia, 6,000 miles away from home alone. I've never been to Europe before. Well, I've been to Italy, but that was like a few months before that. But yeah, doing all of those things with all my medical condition, with all the uncertainty with winter, I don't know how. Because with nerves, you also don't know. Different people like become very sensitive to hot temperature, to cold temperature. They can feel the needle pain again, or muscle spasms, or any of that. I don't know what would happen to me. We live in a tropical country. I don't know what would happen to me in winter. But I still went. I still go. A lot of people call me. I know a lot of people just like crazy and
You
everything.
crazy.
And I can only explain all of this once I went to the meditation camp, but 2 weeks ago, and I realized that that's the power of being able to be present and being able to accept change in your life.
Money well spent, babe.
Thank you, Bali Usada.
I'm so proud of you.
But yeah.
So proud of you.
But it was also another point, but is that it's also always needs intentional work.
Of course.
Because once I moved to abroad, I was in a payback mode. I was just busy traveling, working, enjoying my life. I was super duper happy.
You were revenging
Yes. But I also let go of
the
doing
practice.
the practice, the inner work, all of that. So just so busy immersing myself in life, living. I travel here and there. I travel alone somewhere, and those kind of things would just like be like, even as a girl itself, it's already crazy. As a girl who just got paralyzed, it's even crazier. But I did all those things on a payback mode.
Yeah.
That's I let go of that practice. Kind of like get back immersed to the life that when I got sick back in October last year, it just threw me off the loop because the practice was gone. At the same time, it was a heavier circumstances. I didn't have my family and everything, but that intentional work, I haven't been doing it. So it threw me off the loop even more than it was supposed to if I still do the intentional work. So going back to the meditation camp reminded me of like redoing and rewiring myself to go back to that. To that.
It's truly a lifetime work,
Yes.
honestly.
Yes.
Because unfortunately, a lot of chronic illnesses are incurable.
Lifetime.
But yeah, you have it for a lifetime.
But I find joy in that lifelong process of needing to keep learning, needing to keep progressing with yourself, rediscovering who you are. Because even like we can't say we already accept ourselves fully, right? Because our self keeps progressing from one point to another. Like let's say I only had psoriasis, then I had PM, and then I had what? I don't know what. It keeps on evolving. And there's always new sides of us that we need to start learning to accept,
Yes.
to rediscover, to rewire.
Mm.
And I find joy in that. Because I find joy in being able to live better every day and encourage people to also live better every day. So yeah.
You are such a joyous person, and it shows up in so many ways in our
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Chiara, I'm curious if you had the chance to speak with your inner child. What would you tell little Chiara?
I I would tell her, and I did tell her actually.
Mm.
First is that whatever she's feeling, all of that she's feeling, it's valid
Mm.
and it's okay.
Mm.
And know that we are no longer in that situation. We are now equipped and empowered to go past through those situations. And we are able to live our life now. The second one is thank you for doing all of that she can do, doing the best that she could for what she knows that she can do, that she needs to do, to hang on, to hold on, and to live life. There's nothing better that she could have done. Because at that moment in time, at that point in time, that's what she knows. That's the capacity that she has. And I don't expect anymore. The third one, trust your own timing. Really trust your own timing. My life happened, my evolvement happened because I'm ready for it. If I know about holistic healing when I was younger, earlier, that won't matter.
Yeah.
I wasn't in a mental space to process or to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't need her to rush. I don't need her to force things. I don't need her to keep questioning, why is it so hard for me to change? Because it will happen on its own time.
Yes.
Yeah, those points.
Thank you for sharing such beautiful words. I just really want to say, Chiara, you are actually dealing with more than one type of rare diseases. Erythrodermic psoriasis is rare. Psoriatic arthritis is rare. TM, transverse myelitis, is rare. And the nerve, the last one, what's the name again?
We don't even know.
Okay, it's rare. You are rare, and you are at the same time, you are a miracle too. And I really, truly can't wait to see how you're going to bring your community to a greater height.
Yeah.
And let's talk a little bit about living in Estonia.
Yeah.
What is the biggest difference between being in Indonesia and being in Estonia, specifically when it comes to the healthcare that you receive?
I barely need to pay for anything in Estonia.
But pay tax.
I pay tax.
Yes.
Yes. I also pay tax in Indonesia. It was in Estonia, one of the good things is also the tax is flat. So it doesn't, it's not a progressive tax. So it's not as bad or as big as the other European countries. And on top of it, from that tax, I get a government healthcare insurance, which coming in a first world country, it's covering a lot of medications and it really works properly.
Yeah.
So my biologics now, which used to be a burden for my dad, he wouldn't call it a burden. I would call it a burden. No longer his burden. Because the government pay for it.
Yeah.
Every month, I only needed to pay for €2.5. That's basically like admin fee. When I got hospitalized, I only needed to pay for nightly bed €2.5 and €5 for emergency care. all those MRI. I did 3 MRIs. I did 1 CT scan. I did a full panel blood test for all kind of autoimmune. I didn't pay for anything. I would have needed to pay back home. So because I already have pre-existing condition, I couldn't get my own insurance. So it will need to come from company insurance, which everything being very expensive, it won't cover everything.
Yeah.
So partially it will also have to come out of our own pocket. So being back home, financial for healthcare is something that I need to worry about.
Yeah.
But in Estonia, such a privilege to not worry about it at all. You want to do test on me? Test on. Just do. I just need to like show up because I don't need to worry about it.
How do you feel about such differences that you experience?
It drives me even forward. How do I make this happen for people in Indonesia? Because one thing that drives me to build Psoriasis Indonesia is the question that it's back from the psoriasis is not a burden but a privilege, right?
Yeah.
And the more I meet more people with psoriasis in Indonesia, I realize how privileged I am.
Yeah.
Yes, having psoriasis sucks.
Yeah.
But I'm so privileged in having this. I have parents who support me, who educated my environment, who are able to pay for my treatment, giving me access, who are willing to grow with me and learn with me. Not a lot of people have that.
Exactly.
Not a lot of people have environment that accepts who they are with psoriasis. And I also am very lucky. I've always been surrounded by people who are able to accept psoriasis. And this comes to a question: how do I extend my privilege to other people in Indonesia so they can also have this privilege? So that's why Psoriasis ID is born. That's what I'm trying to fight for. That's what I'm trying to make it happen, to extend the privilege that I have so other people can also have the privilege that I have. And that in turns able to empower them and uplift them to be able to live better with psoriasis.
What would be your aspiration for Psoriasis Indonesia?
There's 2 points this. Actually 3. Okay. The first one is education. Being able to reach more and more audience, both psoriasis and non-psoriatic patients, to create that understanding about what is psoriasis and the complexity behind it, especially for the patient itself.
Yeah.
Because the lack of understanding is severely concerning, very concerning. Second one is the community, to be able to create that safe space for them. Because it's not easy to just simply say, if your environment doesn't accept you, change your circle. It's not as easy as that, right?
Exactly.
So if we can create a safe space for them to go to, we can't change their environment, but we can create a safe space for them to be able to go to. That can help a lot to ease their burden. Well, they're able to learn what they can do to help themselves. They need to help to have that safe space to be able to feel safe first. Only then you can able to see past your pain. The third one, to improve the healthcare access. Because at the end of the day, I come to realize that you can't elevate your life if you're stuck being in pain.
Yep.
That safe space can help you to ease your mental and emotional pain, but that physical pain is still there.
Yeah.
And that physical pain needs to be
Addressed.
through healthcare.
Yes.
So that support and education, quote unquote, is a short-term band-aid. But the long-term band-aid, the long-term solution is provide healthcare to everyone, the equal access to healthcare.
Yes.
So they're able to live pain-free, and so they can focus more than just their illness. That's what I'm trying to do in transformation.
It's a big dream, my friend.
It's a big dream.
It's a lot of work, my friend.
It's a lot of work, but I believe one by one, change will happen.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And you know I'll be here for you.
Yes.
I'm very excited to be on this journey with you.
Yes. I'm very happy to be in this journey with you.
Ah, gross. Before I let you go, Chiara,
Yeah.
I've got to ask this question. I ask this question all the time. So, how's your love life?
How's my love life?
Come, give us a little bit of tea. Is there someone in your life right now? Where are you right now when it comes to love, actually? Apart from, having someone or not having someone.
I'm in a space where I'm not looking
Mm,
because I still have a lot of these dreams that I want to do.
yes.
So I feel like that's what I want to focus on first. And I don't know where I'm going to end up. I don't know where I'm going to settle down,
Which is exciting.
which is exciting. So this is where I'm very like my life is at right now. I'm just still exciting on what's next.
Yeah.
What's my next journey? What's my next path? How can I make things happen? Like this is I did dream and everything. That I'm okay. I'm very comfortable with being on my own right now
Yes.
and having really good and close quality relationships with a lot of people.
Mm,
They fill me with my joy, with my needs of being loved.
mm,
Because speaking of relationship itself, in the years before, what I struggled the most was accepting other people's acceptance.
that's very interesting.
That's very interesting, right?
Yeah.
I can't accept other people's acceptance of me
Yes.
because I couldn't even accept myself. So it was like, I know my parents accept me. I know my family accept me without any conditions. No doubt. I know my friends do
Mm,
too. But when it comes to a partner, it's an entirely different thing.
yes.
Because you're not just being friends with me, you're coming into my life. You're going to see the real up and down with having chronic illness that only so far my family has seen.
Yes.
And since I couldn't even yet accept it at that time, it was like, would you be okay with this? Would you be able to take in all of my pain and ups and downs, especially after TM, all of this baggage into your life and take it on? But I also now I needed to went through a lot of process with myself first in order to be able to accept other people's love into my life. And I've come to the point that I think I'm slowly getting more and more ready and also have the beliefs that yes, they would need to take a lot of baggage with my illnesses, with a lot of compromisation. But at the same time, I know I also bring value to the table.
Mm,
So when they are with me, I also add value to their life.
yes, definitely.
And that's why they're with me. We add value to each other's life.
Yes.
So maybe one day lah. But not now, not yet. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm happily exploring my life right now.
Yes.
So that's my love update.
I think being self-aware on this journey is so important, and I see that you are doing life so beautifully. Your honesty with life, of having your self-awareness,
Yeah.
recognizing where you are in
Yes.
terms of your own self-acceptance, and it reflects and it reflects on the acceptance you get from the others,
Yes.
and how you live beyond your skin, how you chase after your dream, and how you constantly fight for not just yourself,
But for
and
others.
actually for others too.
Yeah.
You're crazy, bitch. But
Bottom line.
I love you so much, and I can't wait to see what's ahead of both of us, actually.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Celebrate us.
Yes.
How far we have come,
Mm-hmm.
where we are today, and where we will be in the future moving forward.
Yeah.
Onwards and upwards.
Onwards and upwards. With that, we are going to put an end to this episode. I don't want this to end ever, but Chiara has another appointment to go.
You don't want this to end ever. You don't want me to stop crying ever.
I hope that, to whoever who is listening to this, you have a lot of takeaways from this episode, because I certainly do. I really hope this episode give you the courage to live beyond your condition, honestly. And
Yeah.
that's actually what matters the most. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. And please remember to glow beyond your skin condition. Bye.